Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air. We're on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher, along with Jerry Burrow. And today, Jerry, we have a very special guest, head hockey coach Bruce Plante up at Hermantown High School. Welcome, Bruce.
Thanks. Yeah, you bet.
Welcome. Yeah.
First time here.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing this, what is this, our sixth season?
Yep.
Geez. Maybe we'll try to have you on more often.
Well, we'll see how that goes today.
I learned something today, Jerry, and I got my notes here on my receipt. I had to quick scribble this down. I did not know that Coach Plante was a graduate of UW Superior in 1973.
That's correct.
And you were a goaltender on the hockey team.
I was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you were inducted into the UW Superior Hall of Fame in 2013, recipient of the Mertz Mortarelli Coaching Achievement Award. You're in the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, there you go.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, talk
Very
about
nice
that.
of them.
What,
Well,
2013?
Yeah, well, they called me up and told me I got this thing, so I go, wow. I was totally shocked by the whole thing, really. I never ever imagined something like that happening to me, but it was a very nice event, and it was a nice thing, and people were really great over there, like they always are. You know, UWS is a great school for people are really good to you all the time over there. So they were really nice to me, and I had a nice little banquet and introduction, and it was just a fun time.
Yeah.
Wow, there's been some great athletes that went through that school. It's unbelievable when you look back if you research it.
Sure.
Congratulations on that. Well, Bruce, let's talk about right away this year's team. What do you like about it?
Well, I like a compete level. I like the way we work hard. Kids are pretty talented. We have some talent on the team, but it's always important to be a hard-working team, and this team is really good at that. They're great in practice. They listen well. They're coachable as hell, and they go after it pretty good. So it's a lot of fun to work with a group like that.
Is there any difference in this team than other teams that you've had that been to the state?
Well, a lot of difference. Some of our top players are our hardest workers, so that's always good, and that's been that way for a long time in Hermantown. So our depth is pretty good this year. So some years we haven't had as much depth as we have this year. We have a bunch of guys that can actually play well, so that helps our team a lot this year. Our goaltending's been good. Our defensemen, we have a very young D-corps. We graduated 3 guys and that graduated, and one of our top defensemen, top 2 senior defensemen, one of them got hurt in football and he got a concussion. Nolan Halverson, he's out for the year, so he's kind of hung up the skates, as he called it. So we had to go with a lot of young sophomore. We had to move forward back to D, and 2 of them actually, one sophomore, one junior, and so we've got a pretty good group, but they're very young and they're gaining their experience as we go.
Now, you've got a game this Friday, at White Bear Lake. Coach, you started off the season, the Hermantown Hawks, with a loss at Wayzata, 5-1, and then you tied Lakeville South 1-1, and then you had 12 consecutive wins. Was that the game plan?
No, there is no game plan. Our game plan is to play them one at a time. But yeah, well, Wayzata's a good team, and we kind of had a good thing going in the first period, and we didn't score. And then they kind of got us going in the second, ran us out of the building for the second period. We came back in the third period pretty well, but we lost that game. And the next night we played Lakeville South and in Hermantown, and it was a great game. It was an up and down, fast-paced game. Ended up tied. 2 really quality teams to start the season, and I think we got worked on some of our mistakes and some of the things we needed to do. Changed up the lineup a little bit. And then we won a game, and then we just kind of rolled from there.
Geez, you got a young defensive core. Looking at these scores, your goaltender, your team, has 3 shutouts, has not allowed more than 3 goals, twice 3 goals. And my goodness, that says a lot about your defenseman and certainly your goaltender.
Yeah, that's kind of the strength of our team. We really work hard every day on team defense and working on our defensemen to be able to handle that one-on-one rush and that line rush and outlet the puck, so they work hard at that. That's kind of been our MO for a number of years now, is just playing really solid, good defense. What really helps us there, especially on penalty kill, is our goaltender. Cade McEwen is an exceptional goaltender, and he's very good, so that's has more to do with the low scores than anything else, really.
Who were the coaches that help you that work with these guys?
Dale Ehrlichine, who's our head football coach in Hermantown,
sure.
also is been my assistant coach for like 23 years now.
Wow.
So we've been together a long time.
My goodness.
Matt Swanson's the same thing. He's our goalie coach. He's a fireman in Duluth, but he's our goalie coach. He's an exceptional goalie coach, and he's been with us for 23 years.
Wow.
So the three of us have been together for a long time now. This year we got Pat Andrews is coaching with us. He coached the Bantam team for the last 10 years and has moved up into our ranks. Craig Peterson, who coaches for the last 15 years, retired from coaching. You know, he's got 6 kids, so he was doing the family thing, and he got a lot of things going on with his kids. So he kind of stepped back out of there, and we hired Pat Andrews, and Nate Buck's with us. He's our JV varsity assistant, and he's been with us. I think this is his 10th year with us. So we've got a lot of longevity with our coaching staff, and we all get along great, and works pretty good. We all have our little roles to play, and we do them pretty well.
How long have you been a coach at Hermantown now?
I think this is my 28th year
Wow.
as a head coach, and I took 6 years out to scout with the North Stars, and fortunately I got the head coaching job back. I coached for 6 years, then I went scouting for 6 years, and then
You took a break at one time. I didn't know that.
Well, time out, Coach. You were a scout for the Minnesota North Stars.
yeah, for sure, a long time ago.
What
I think
period
about
of-
89, probably about 89, 90
Okay.
to 95, somewhere in that.
So
that
91 Stanley Cup appearance.
area.
with Pittsburgh?
Yeah, you bet.
Okay.
I was in the building.
Yeah, the North Stars were up in that series 2-1, and then Mario Lemieux came back from an injury, and things changed fast.
Yeah, they did. He was, as everybody knows, a very special player.
Wow, so the North Stars, huh? What do you recall? Some of the things. Who were some of the players that you suggested that maybe panned out, or?
Well, some of them. Well, Jamie Langemacher was one of them that I had found
sure.
out. Kelly Fairchild, we didn't draft, but we
Right.
really liked him at that time, and Rick Morozic, who played at Cloquet at
Right.
the time, got drafted
Nice
by Minnesota also. See who else was around? Bonin from White Bear,
Yep.
and there's a number of guys there. I don't remember all of them now so much, but yeah, it was a good time. I was just a part-time guy. I wasn't a full-time.
So you just scout in Minnesota, high school, or
Yeah.
did you do juniors a lot?
Minnesota, WCHA, and Thunder Bay, Fort
Okay,
Francis.
okay,
This
okay.
kind of northern area. And we
Yeah.
had another guy, Tom Osiki, who also coached high school hockey
Yeah,
at
I know
Burnsville.
him.
Yeah, he was the southern half, and then he'd identify guys, not identify guys. Then we'd flip flop.
Right.
And if we liked guys, we'd send the names on to the head scouts, and the head scouts would come in and
As a scout, are you looking at all the players? Is there one guy you're going to look at? Is it a variety of things like that?
well as the
Are you getting tips from other people?
Oh yeah,
This is-
yeah. And these kids are in select camps, or they're in different places that you end up seeing them, and the word gets around who the best players are,
Right.
and you can make sure you go see them. If you see somebody else other than that, of course you would keep an eye on them. But what we tried to do as the part-time guy, just in an area scout, was just try to thin that number down.
Right.
So the full-time guys, when they came in, they didn't have to go watch 30 guys. They only had to go
watch
watch
5 or
3
6,
guys.
okay.
So
Was Tony Herkus one of the guys you looked at back in, or was he before?
yeah,
that?
he was a little bit before that. I
Okay,
think. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
I was like Tony Herkus.
Yeah, he was a great
liked his
player.
game. Played at North Dakota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because the North Stars left for Dallas, is that why you got back into high school coaching?
Well, I
then,
coached.
or-
I was scout with Dallas for a year, and then they went to a kind of an 18-year-old draft, but you had to opt into the draft. So high school kids in Minnesota, as you know, aren't going to opt into the
Right.
NHL draft because they're all pretty much college-bound type kids. So,
Right.
so that kind of killed the Minnesota draft, and they only did it for a year or two there because it didn't work out very well for the other kids. So. If the thing was, if you opted into the draft, now you were ineligible for
For
college
college, yeah.
hockey. So, not very many kids opted in Minnesota, and it kind of killed the scouting in Minnesota. Really, you had to wait till they were
Right.
19, and then you could draft them.
Wow.
But
That's
so
strange,
it
yeah.
was a different time right then. Just a year or two, they tried it. I don't think it kind of washed itself out. And by that time, I went back coaching. So.
Huh. Derek Plante joins us, head hockey coach at Hermantown, and we only get 30 minutes to do this. And I know that we're going to finish this and wish we had asked more questions, so we'll just keep asking a ton of questions.
Well, you said Derek Plante. That's his son.
I'm sorry, Bruce Plante. And I was afraid I was going to slip,
Well, let's
have a
talk
slip
about
of the tongue.
Derek.
Exactly.
Derek, he came from Buffalo to Dallas right at the right time, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He got drafted. Yeah, mid-season there, and he ended up there, and played for the cup and got the cup and got his name on the cup. And so that was a great experience for him.
You went down there to see some games, didn't you?
Yeah, I was teaching at the time, so it's hard to get away. But
Right.
I did weasel a couple days out of my principal to get down there. We just flew to Dallas and watched them play a couple of those games. And I wasn't there at the game when they actually won the cup.
Right.
I think that was in Buffalo when they won it. But yeah, I got. To
Oh, you
put
weren't
on
there
it.
when they won it, huh?
No, I
Oh,
wasn't
darn.
there that night. No.
Okay.
I watched it on TV like everybody else, but no, I wasn't there at the time.
And a couple years later, he went over to Europe and played in the German league,
Yeah.
and then the Swiss A League. I noticed.
Well, I remember
he
watching-
played there for about 5 years, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Sitzer?
played overseas. He played in Germany and Swiss. He also played in Japan for a couple of years, and so
Did he like it?
yeah, he loved it. He learned
Well,
a lot.
Japan?
Yeah, he played in that Asian league at the
My
right
goodness.
toward the end of his time, and then he came 1 year back, I think, to Switzerland, and then that was it. He wrapped it up. But
Was
came
it
back.
paid pretty good?
Pay was good. Pay was
Wow.
really good. Yeah, they
Wow.
take good care of you over there. Give you a car, give you a place to
Right.
live.
That's right. They
Yeah,
don't.
so
That's
they do
extra,
a lot of
yeah.
those kinds of things. So it was getting toward the end of his time. So he wanted to keep playing, and he was capable. So
How's Derek doing? What's he up to now?
he's
He's
doing great.
full-time
yeah.
dad?
Full-time dad. He's working as player development for the Chicago Blackhawks,
Oh, my.
and so he can live at home. He's home usually Sunday through Thursday, and then he goes on the weekends to watch kids. What his job really is he's watching kids that have been drafted by Chicago but have not signed yet. So
Oh.
he helps them develop, and he talks to them, he talks to the team, tells them where they're at, and kind of works that way. And he just signed a new year deal for 3 years, I think. So he's going to be good for a while, anyways. And the whole purpose was for him to be
Around his
spending more time with us. He's got 3 young boys.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
They're
Yeah.
For one.
9, 11, and 12. So
Oh, boy.
he wanted to be around during their primary years here. So it was a
Jamie
good
Langen
move.
brother does the same thing for Boston.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of neat. Both those guys continue with hockey like that.
Yeah, they get to coach their kids a little bit. I know
Right.
Jamie's coaching his
Right.
kid up a little
Right.
bit, and Derek's coaching all 3 of them up a little bit, especially in the summer and spring. Now even he helps out when he can. So getting to spend some time with his boys and his wife, and
Right.
it's kind of a nice deal.
So we always talk about like Coach Randolph for East and you been around the game for a long time, coached it and that. So we're always asking, when are these two coaches going to give it up? So Coach Randolph always says it's year to year, but we think he's going to die on the rink. What about you?
Well, I'm not gonna. Well, I might die on the rink, but that could be next week for all I know. But I don't know how long I'll go. I've been doing the same thing. I'm just one year at a time, and
Yeah.
and as long as the kids keep listening and working hard for me and make me feel good about what I'm doing, and the parents leave me alone, I'll probably stay for a long time. But that's kind of where it's been with me, 1 year at a time, and just enjoy it as it comes.
State class champions in 2007
Yep.
and last year.
Yep.
Last year was pretty special because you had been there, 5 consecutive championship games and came home with second place. My goodness, what a great feeling for you and the kids and the parents and everybody attached to Hermantown hockey, the alum, that finally you get that victory. But, finishing second place isn't too shabby, but you want that first place trophy.
Yeah, second place is great. I mean, if in most seasons somebody asked you before you're going to take second place in the state tournament, I think you'd take it. I think almost any of us as coaches would probably take it. Of course, you want to be the champion, but that's still a pretty good feather in your hat. It's still a really great season, and you're not getting beat in that section game. You're at least getting the kids there, and obviously you won a couple games to get to that game. So. But it was getting hard to take after a while. We lost 6 in a row in a championship game, and most teams don't even get there that many times in a row. So we were fortunate that way, and a couple years we probably weren't as strong as we have been at other years, but we still made it there. So it was really nice. But it was getting old to answering the same questions, and all the stuff that goes along with that from people giving you a hard time and whatnot. So
Well, we're so proud of Hermantown hockey. Of course, Hermantown is part of Duluth, really. And I've even said, I went to Central, Jerry went to Cathedral. But when Duluth East goes down, we cheer. They're Duluth boys. When Hermantown's in the tournament, that's Hermantown. You know, that's our neighbor, and these are local kids. So it's just a great time of the year when state tournament comes around. And again, you've got a game at White Bear Lake Friday. Actually, you've got 3 road games coming up at White Bear Lake, Saturday at St. Michael Albertville, and then you wait till Thursday the 26th to play at Proctor.
Yeah, this weekend is going to be a good test for us. Both those teams are rated in the top 20, and I think White Bear is usually fast and skilled, so that's going to be a different kind of game. And St. Michael's usually big and strong and tough, so there's going to be both good games for us to see how we hold up, and it'll be a fun weekend.
You know, I was looking at your UW Superior Hall of Fame recipient, 2013, but I also learned you were a baseball coach.
Yeah, I coached baseball in Hermantown for 20 years, and I Cloquet for a few years before that.
My goodness. Now, you're a Cloquet native.
I am a Cloquet
Okay.
native, yeah. Born and raised in Cloquet, 20th Street, 340 20th.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there you go.
To the high school.
You know, what is it about Cloquet? I mean, there's been some great hockey players from Duluth, obviously, but you can look at some really good hockey players out of that little town up there in Cloquet, Minnesota. Derek Plante, or who are some other? Langenbrenner, Corey Millen.
Yeah.
Who were some of the hockey players back in UMD back in the day from Cloquet?
Jimmy Springers.
Jimmy Springer.
Yeah, Jim Plankers.
Yeah.
Brian Durand.
Morosa.
All those guys I coached.
What's going on in Cloquet? Where do these?
It's all in the mills. You know.
It's in the mill.
Yeah, it's in the mills. It's in the air. You know. All
These
that.
kids aren't coming out of Proctor or any other small town. They're coming out of Cloquet. It's pretty impressive.
Well, I think Cloquet has just a very hard-working community, and the kids work really hard. I mean, even how we built the barn is a story all in itself, you know, and that was one of those deals where we couldn't get a referendum passed, so we just pounded Bill Kennedy, the great coach at Cloquet that kind of got us all started, was just pounded his fist on the desk, said, well, then we'll build it ourselves, and we did.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an ugly old barn building, but it's the barn, and it's something that Cloquet people take great pride in. And I think right from then on, I think it was just the work ethic and the culture of hockey. And of course, we had 4 or 5 outdoor rinks spread out around town, so the kids played on the outdoor rinks, and it just kind of caught fire.
Yeah.
And then you get guys like Corey and Jimmy and these kids that came along, and Jamie, and all of them kind of have just kept that thing going. Now Jamie's son is a sophomore at Cloquet, and he's a wonderful player. He's a really good player. And I think they're going to be coming back now again to be top of the heap. That sophomore group's very good.
Right,
so.
they'll be ready by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Coach Dave Essie does a great job at Cloquet. Was there ever an opportunity for you to coach up there? Any thoughts or desire ever to coach in your hometown?
Well, I always wanted to coach there.
Sure.
From the beginning, when I coached Bantams for 13 years.
Oh, you did? I was going
Pee-wees for 3 years. So I was totally ingrained in Cloquet hockey. My blood was purple, and it was my dream to always do that. Well, it never did happen. It never really came about. I actually got taught in school in Cloquet for 4 years, so before I got to move to Hermantown. But I had an opportunity to coach a high school team in Hermantown.
How did that come about?
Well, it was just a deal. Pete Stasiak had quit or retired or however.
Okay, so there you go.
That.
Pete Stasiak was the previous coach.
Yeah.
A name that I'm not familiar with, but it's been that long. Okay.
Yeah. That was probably like 84. 1984 when I first started coaching there, and so I got to coach there. We went to section finals that year. That my first year there, with Darryl Illicanen was our goalie.
Oh my!
And he's 6'4", big kid, great goaltender, and he kind of almost brought us to the promised land, and that just kind of turned on the whole community. The whole community got excited about it, and we got to get a rink, and then all the wheels started to turn, and all the right people got involved, and all the downtowners and guys that knew everybody, and they made it happen. So. Of course, I was there when we built the building and got that thing going. So, kind of same thing snowballed in Hermantown that happened in Cloquet. So,
you've been around this game for 28 years now for high school coaching. What's the biggest difference from when you first started in high school hockey to now on the way the game is?
Well, one of the biggest things is there's so many more kids that can skate. I mean, the skating is just unbelievable. There isn't a team we play that doesn't have a lot of great skaters on it. There's some teams that have more skill than others, and maybe a little more hockey savvy. But a lot of kids can skate today, and And the equipment's better, everything's better, the depth is better, and I mean, not that hockey wasn't great in the 70s and the 60s,
Right.
It certainly was, but there wasn't as many teams that were good.
It's probably more rink rat hockey back in the old days, But you coach any different from the first day you started coaching to now?
I've kind of evolved a little bit along the way, but my whole premise behind coaching is the same as it always has been. Play aggressive, play hard, try to put a lot of pressure on the other team, and make them make plays at speed. And we try to play a fast game, a physical game, and try to play smart, be smart about it. So I haven't changed any of that part of it.
Of course, Hermantown hosted Hockey Day Minnesota a few years back. The weather didn't cooperate exactly, but you got the games in. This weekend, we're going to have Hockey Day Minnesota in Stillwater, Minnesota. We have, who do we have? Thief River Falls, Matamita, and Eden Prairie in Stillwater. What are some of your memories of the Hockey Day Minnesota up in Hermantown? And is there a possibility we might do it again in Hermantown?
Well, my memories from that was awesome. That was a great event. We had a little trouble with it, warmed up quite a bit, so we got a little rain going and slushy snow, and it made it rougher. But the people did a great job working the rink, keep it playable, and so the Hermantown people really came through there. And it was a fun night. It was a fun day. We had a little bowling thing the night before, and a little banquet with the teams, and it was just a blast. It was a good thing. And we played a great team, Eden Prairie, with a wonderful coach, and it was a very competitive game. We lost, but they were one of the best teams in the state, and we were kind of the up-and-comer a little bit, and so it was a great event for us. It was a lot.
Last year, Duluth hosted Hockey Day Minnesota, and to see it firsthand, it is amazing. Fox Sports North brings their crew up, and they do a top-notch job, and we look forward to this weekend, Hockey Day Minnesota, and so we'll be watching that. Coach Bruce Plante from Hermantown joins us. Your son Derek played at UMD. Was that a dream of his to play at UMD, or was he recruited from other schools? Or?
He was recruited by other schools for sure, and I don't know exactly if that was his dream to play at UMD. I know he went to UMD's hockey camp when he was a little boy all the way through.
Who were some of the other schools that looked at him that wanted him?
Well, Minnesota called him every day for about 11 days in a row, but he had no scholarships for him, so he was just
Dougie Wood.
he just said, well, if one of these guys go pro, we got some money for you, kind of thing. And then St. Cloud did, and a few others did. I don't really remember all the schools, but that was kind of Derek's decision to do what he wanted to do, and I think he made the right decision. It all worked out great.
Was he a Hobie finalist?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the winner that year was that Chris Marinucci?
No, Paul Correa.
Well, we got a Hobie Baker for Derek right there if he needs it. So our very own.
Paul Correa won it, and I think the next year Chris won it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But Drew LeBlanc, he won it for Hermantown.
Yeah,
There you
it's one
go.
of our Hermantown heroes.
And right down the block the year before, Jack Connolly. What a
Yeah.
story, putting those two together, play against each other all their life, Pee-wees, Bantams, and they both win the Hobie Baker.
Well,
Back in 2007, we played in the state championship game. That's who we played against, Duluth Marshall.
sure.
right.
Jack Connolly.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it
That's
is.
a
Yeah, it
great
is.
story.
Yeah.
Well, again, Bruce Plante joins us, and the Hermantown Hawks have had some great success. Two state championships, 2007, and then just last year. And it looks like they're on their way to another one. The team's 12-1-1. And what kind of talk? Is there talk about the state tournament anytime during the season? Obviously, it's a goal you want to get down there. You want to win it all. But you guys discuss stuff like that?
We don't directly talk about it. What we talk about is getting better every day kind of thing and be ready for playoffs. I do bring up playoffs once in a while, like, this is things that we have to do better if we want to be a good playoff team. Statements like that, but I don't necessarily bring up the state tournament. We do have a goal sheet before the season, and the kids write their goals, their personal goals, and their team goals. And every kid, their team goal is to win the championship. So win the conference, win the section, win the state tournament is usually what most of the kids write, and I like that because that gives them some goals to shoot for.
Well, this weekend you got two big games. One is the first game Friday night at White Bear, and they just beat the #1 team in the state in AA, and that's Stillwater. And then they go up to St. Michael Albertville. They just beat Roseau up in Roseau, and Roseau won 11 in a row. So you got two tough teams that play this. And people overlook these two teams probably, but They shouldn't.
Well, we won't, I'll tell you that. Our kids will be ready to play. They love playing good teams.
Yeah.
Do you find time to be able to sit down and watch a Wild game? The Wild are playing one of the best teams in the NHL right now. They had that long consecutive streak that was ended by Columbus that had their own streak. But my goodness, the past few games, 7-1 over the Canadians. A nice win at Dallas. Team's doing well.
I love watching them play. You know, they're a team. You know, they got a bunch of guys. They don't have like just the one star. They got a bunch of guys. They're fun to watch, and there's a team that works really hard. So
Scored by committee.
Great to see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's great to see.
But they have the foundation, Dubnik.
Yeah,
You need a goalie.
yeah. You always gotta have that guy, man. You're in trouble if you don't.
Well, Bruce Plante, our guest here today, Hermantown Hawks head coach, and boy, I'll tell you, this is pretty neat. Derek Plante was. I wanted to mention that during the playoffs, he was with Buffalo, and I don't recall who they were playing. Maybe the Islanders. And they have that little screenshot of a featured player, and there was Derek Plante. And I remember thinking, my goodness, this is a kid from Cloquet. He's the featured player on the Buffalo Sabres in the playoffs of the NHL. It's got to be. It was a great feeling for me as a father, as a dad, watching Derek play and Stanley Cup. My goodness, it's got to be a little overwhelming.
Yeah, it was overwhelming. It was pretty exciting and overwhelming at times, especially when he first started. His first game he played against the Boston Bruins, and you know all these great players out there like Ray Bourque and Cam Neely and these guys. It's you got to be kidding me. You know, he's out there with those guys. You know, it's fun to watch. And I ended up watching it. I didn't go because just didn't go out to Boston. And I ended up watching in a bar at Skyline.
Yeah.
All by myself, just watching this game. You know, I couldn't hear nothing, but it was exciting the first time he got to play. I got to see him a little bit later then, but yeah, it was. It's a pretty neat deal. It's not something that every kid ever gets to do. Yeah, that's for sure. And he was just right place, right time. Had worked hard to get there. Had a great career at UMD, and gave him a chance. And John Muckler gave him a chance to play in the league. And once he got the chance to play, he did really well.
Do his kids know what he did? I mean, really know? Do they have film and show them winning the Stanley Cup? And
they know generally.
Yeah.
I don't know if they really know how hard it is to get to that place,
Right.
but
it is a hard place to get.
it is a really hard place to get to.
Well,
yeah.
this has been a ton of fun. Hermantown head hockey coach Bruce Plante has joined us for this half hour, and we appreciate that. We want to thank the staff at PACT-TV that produced this show. Look for us online, mnhockeyconnection.com, and look for us on Facebook and like our Facebook page, and we'll like you back. And on YouTube as well. We have a YouTube channel, Minnesota Hockey Connection. And Jerry, this has been a ton of fun.
Yeah. Thank you, Bruce.
Thanks for having me. It's been a good time.
And until next week, we'll be back to drop the puck.
See you at the rink.